Good morning, everyone. This is Barrington Lewis. I wanted to do a quick video um, before you get started with your day at work. We have two data sets here. One data set has a list of our frequent shoppers on our original data set list. We have our shopper's name and their address. And as you can see here, the address is listed here. Here are the names of those individuals that shop at our store, for instance. And we have another data set where we received updated information um, from our shoppers, and the address has changed. And we want to know if the address has changed, and if we have anything that changed, we want to know about it or recreate a new data set with those updates. But first, we want to identify those records that changed. And so, for instance, we'll write a quick. Just do this in process. We go write it because we're going to have to join these together. It's so slow this morning. And we'll write a quick proxy SQL, and our original table, we'll just call it table O. We'll select all records from our original table, and we only want those address or the address column from the new table to identify those records that may have changed. We're going to bring that into our new table. We'll abbreviate our original table as O. We're going to left join, which means we're only going to bring in those shoppers that match on our original table. We would call it N for our original for a new table. Moving on. We just want to look at those addresses that have changed. So the original address is not equal to address. It should show us where we have any changes to if there are any changes on between both of those two tables with the address field, we should know about it. And I had an error here. Shoppers. Run it. Can't account for those errors when you're doing a live video, but they happen. I'm human. But anyway, this should work now, and we're going to bring in the results where we have um, those fields that have different addresses. Um, so the problem here already in this brief data set, we can see we have on our first line, Laura Jackson, 35 Harris Avenue. Avenue is spelled out in our original table, and our new table has 35 Harris AVE. Now it's identifying, SAS is identifying this as a new address because it's different from the original table. But we really don't care that if it's abbreviated, that's, if you're just looking at this table, you realize that this is okay. You don't really need to know about Laura Jack. This could be a typo, or for whatever reason it's abbreviated, and we don't really need to know about that. That's okay. Um, but for instance, if we look at 423 Rockaway Lane here, and we can see this address has been updated to 27 Fir Bluff, that's that's something that we want SAS to point out for us. So if it's abbreviated, we don't really care. So we need to tell SAS to ignore those abbreviations, ignore if it sounds similar, if it's pretty close, ignore it. Um, the problem with this code is that it does not allow for that. So we're going to update our code to show to eliminate those addresses that sound similar. We want to ignore it. So we'll recreate the code again, mostly the same way as we did before. Table left join. Oh, left join. Okay. And Now here's where hack or the fancy coding comes in, where we teach SAS to ignore those records that sound similar. If you was creating this and you had such abbreviations, you wouldn't want to have to go through this entire data set to say, okay, this is okay, and if it's there a completely new address, you have to flag that. So this is just a shortcut where we can use the substring command. We want to compress any spaces that we might have, just so we can eliminate as many errors as possible. And the soundx function is really what teaches SAS how to ignore those records that sound similar. So we're going to do that on the first table. And for instance, right now, let's just look at those that are equal. You'll see what I mean in a minute. SoundX, and our new address. We'll run this code again, but now we're going to tell SAS to find those records that sound the same. And it should be able to go through based on this code here. Of course, this does not exist. Well, this just ruins my whole my whole video. So we'll do this again. Tell SAS to if they sound similar in the first table and it sounds similar in the second table, show us those records. This time it works, and we can see, okay, hey, 35 is telling us that 35 Harris Avenue is similar to 35 Harris Avenue. Dogwood Drive is spelled out. Of course, that sounds similar as well. And so and here's Elm Street right here. Elm Street is abbreviated here. So it's identifying those records now based on this code, the soundx function of address. And I'm telling it to look at a few variables, a few, the first few characters in order for it to find those records that sound similar. So now we're going to find those records that are completely different by telling SAS not equal. So those records in the original table is not equal to the records in the new table. We're gonna run this again. Check our time here. We're doing okay. So it's just a quick code. We're bringing in one line item from the new table into our original table and finding those records that are completely different. And here we go. So of course, 423 Walker Lane is completely different from 27 Fir Bluff. SAS Park, Candlestick Park, that's completely different. So a few slip through the cracks still, so we can still tweak our code too. So for instance, we have 888 Fifth Street and 888 Fifth Street, but of course here it's just the number 5 and here it's spelled out. Same for the row underneath it, which is Southwest 51st Street and Southwest 51st Street. So we have to go back and tweak our code to maybe refine this to get these to eliminate these 2 rows where these are okay. But as you can see from the first code that we ran, we can flag these and say and tell SAS that this is okay, and this is not okay, these 2 records. So this is a quick time or fast times, a great time saver for us to eliminate those records that sound similar and only identify those records that are completely different. So just a quick overview of what I would do to perform such a task. And I don't know. Let's just look for. Let's just try this again to see if we can refine this down to 1 character, and this may or may not work, but we're just tweaking the code on this live video and just seeing what works, where it doesn't work. But that's the video, guys. Basically, I just wanted to show you how we can tell or teach SAS to identify those records that sound similar, and if they are completely different, that's what we want to extract those records from our data set. So here, that code did work. We were able to refine or eliminate those 2 records that sounded similar and only keep the records that are completely different. So that's the video, guys. Thanks for listening. I'm Barrington Lewis, and I hope you have a great day. You can reach me at barringtonlewis@gmail.com if you have any comments or questions on this video. Thanks, guys. Bye.